Hey everybody, it's Kathy Champion with Random Acts of Crafting, and I'd like to welcome you to my craft room today. If any of you follow me on Facebook at Random Acts of Crafting by Kathy Champion, you would have seen this beautiful box that I have. I've been working on it for a few days and trying to get this to come to life for me. What happened and where I got my inspiration for this was actually a box that my youngest daughter, Jennifer, gave me perfume in for Christmas, probably a couple years ago. But I found the box the other day when I was searching the house for something else, and I ran across this box, and you know, as crafters, we all draw inspiration. Let me turn my lights on and see if we can get a little bit better light on the situation. Okay, I hope that's better. But this box, I fell in love with it when I got it, and I thought this would be so cute to put on my craft desk and keep crafting supplies in. We always need something to hide away our goodies and different types of products that we use and what have you. And I thought this box would have been perfect for that, except it was Christmas and nobody wants a Christmas box on their desk all year round. So when I found this box, and knowing that I'm constantly on the look for something different to bring to my channel for all of you, I thought this would be perfect. So I got busy and I started prototyping, and my first one did not turn out so good. I will show you, but it was kind of a fail all the way around. So I had to go back and I redid it. This was my first one, and as you can see, I had problems in here. I just had a lot of problems with it. So I have some dies in there. That's what you're hearing kind of rolling around in there, making that noise. But I did not give up, so I kept thinking, okay, I know what I did wrong. So that's when I came up with this one. And so as you can see, I have put a lot of my embossing powders and tools in here. My little spoon to get my embossing powder out, my Versamark ink, my little powder tool that you use to de-static your paper. So all of that fits in here beautifully. And what a pretty box to display on your craft table. So without any further ado, I am going to show you what you're going to need to make this box. Took my pen out of my glue and I didn't put it back in, so give me just a second to get that taken care of. Okay, what we're going to need to start off with is the basic construction of our box, which is our chipboard pieces. Now, if you do not have chipboard, please do not worry. This piece right here I constructed out of 2 pieces of cardboard. I took the shiny side and I glued them together. I do see where it's off just a hair right here, so we're just going to trim that down using my scissors. And maybe right here. Let's see, maybe go this way. And you have to remember that, you know, paper and cardboard's not always perfect, so it's okay if it's not exactly perfect. We're going to make it come together perfect because we're going to use some beautiful paper. We're going to cover these raw edges so it will kind of cover up the ugly. But what you're going to need is you're going to need the front flap, which is the piece that I have the flower living on. You're going to need that, and you're going to need 2.5 by 8.5. I'm sorry, 2 1/4 by 8.5, and then you're going to do a curvature on here. I do have a template that I am going to try to link so that you can just print this out and cut it and make your template. So if you want to recreate this box, you'll be able to do it over and over. But there's your flap, and then here's your front, 8 1/4 by 4 3/4. And do not worry about getting the measurements. I will have that all in the description box. Your back, if you notice, is a 1/4 inch larger than your front. So you want to keep that in mind when you're cutting your pieces. And again, I will list it that the front the front is 8 1/4, the back is 8 1/2, and both of them are by 4 3/4 inch high. Your two sides are both the same, 6 1/4 by 4 7/8, and then your top is 8 1/2 by 6 3/4, as well as your bottom, 8 1/2 by 6 3/4. So once you get your chipboard all cut, then you're going to lay out your top, your flap, your back. Let's see, I'll make sure I'm getting it going the right way. Let's do it this way. And I'm going to leave these up so you can see how it's being laid out. And I'm hoping I am in camera frame. Okay, here's your top. And of course you want to make sure that the flap is against it. Then you're going to have the back, because you have the flap, the top, the back, and then the bottom. So what we're going to need to do at this point is we need to make a piece of paper that is this long. Now, we all know that most of us have 12 by 12 paper, and you can very easily see that this is a lot longer than 12 inches. So we're going to have to construct a couple of pieces of our paper, and we'll do that using some sticky tape. We'll just take and stick two pieces together, which will give us 24 inches, which will be enough to lay this on and stick it down and wrap it. And then we will, I'll tell you what, let's just do it. I'll show you how to do this. And we are going to stack these pieces right here. And I have picked out some papers, and I'm going to show you what I chose for my box. I'm going to do the lining in this color. I'm going to do the sides in this color, and I am going to do the body of the box, the front, probably the front and the sides in this. And then I thought maybe the flap would be so cute in this swirly green. I just love the pinks and the greens together, and I think this is going to be really cute. They both have shimmers. This has a foil. This actually has a glitter, but it's the good kind that doesn't come off and get all over everything. So I pulled these out of a paper pad called Blossoms and Butterflies, and I've used this before. It is a beautiful pack of paper. I think I got it at Joann's. It has been a while back, so I don't know if it's still available, but beautiful, beautiful pack of paper. But again, like I said, just use what you have. So we're going to grab our two solid pieces, and I am going to use some sticky tape to put these together with. And I'm just going to use the 1/4 inch because I want to get every inch of this paper that I can. So let's just take one piece and lay it here, and let's run the sticky tape right along the edge. And we're just gonna, it doesn't matter if it goes over the edge just a little bit. We're gonna try to get it as even as we can. So just use your fingers like I'm doing and guide it, and just stick it a little bit at a time, and that'll help you get that even edge on it. And that makes it so nice. Now, this is something that I have found in my own crafting, and maybe you might not want to do it, but it's just something that helps. You ever tried to pull this up and it starts to tear your paper? It's because the sticky part of that sticky tape, the underside, has not adhered to the paper well. So just take your bone folder and go over it, and that helps get it adhered to the paper underneath. And when you do that and you go to lift this, you're going to see it just lifts so easily, and you got that nice thin line of sticky tape that you're ready to adhere to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this, and I'm going to use my mat to help me line it up, because I think sometimes that helps tremendously. If we can get it right to the edge, all good and straight. And then we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to bring this over to right there, And I'm just going to lay it into that sticky tape. That's not perfect, but you know what? It's all right because this is going to be wrapped under anyway. Now you are going to have the seam that's going to show on the back, and this is where I covered this right here with this, hoping I'm in camera, with this. I used my edge punch, and I edged like a 1.5 inch strip of just white cardstock, and I just stuck it down. And with this, we probably will do a hot pink or something that will coordinate with the paper. That would just be beautiful back there. But we will camouflage the seam, so we're not going to worry about that. All right, so we are going to put down, and I'm going to leave these up, the measurements, so that you can see them. But we're going to lay this down, and I want to get it kind of centered in the middle, and we'll move these pieces around as need be. But you want to have about 1/8 of an inch gap in between the pieces, and I'll tell you why. When you are folding this, you want to have some give so that it doesn't break your paper. That's always bad if it breaks your paper, because then you're going to have a tear and it won't look as nice. You can still use it, but it will not look as nice as it does if you give yourself the room. Now let's see. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to eyeball how much room I have, and I want to have a little bit extra up here for this curvature. So I am going to make a mark with my pencil, and, whoops, wrong one. And I am going to put this mark right here so that I know that this is where I need to glue this down at. This will just make it so much easier when we bring this back with the glue on it, just to be able to stick it right there. So back to the art glitter glue. Now you can use sticky tape, and I will use sticky tape, but not to adhere these down. I'm going to use the sticky tape to bring the pieces over to it, because it will hold the paper, and it dries instantly, so you don't have to wait for it to dry. But putting these pieces down, I do like to use my art glitter glue. And it is a preference if you wanted to use sticky tape on the entire project, or if you wanted to use art glitter glue on the entire project. That is totally a preference. So you use what you craft with and what makes you comfortable, because crafting is supposed to be fun, so we don't want to make it stressful at all. Now we're just going to bring this piece to it, and I want to have a gap, and I got this little piece of scrap chipboard, and what you want that gap to be is about what this is. So I'm going to push that up to it, and then I'm going to hold that there, and I'm going to make myself another mark right there, so that when I come back to lay this sorry, I have a frog in my throat. When I come back to lay this piece down, I will I am so sorry, folks. I don't know where my frog came from, but I definitely have a little bit of a frog. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue on this. You want to make sure you get it on the edge as much as possible. And then just kind of scrub your glue in the middle. You don't need a whole lot, but you do want to put enough down so it adheres to that paper. So now we're going to lay this down right in that area that we marked off, like so. And now this is going to be our back, and as you can see, this is where that seam is going to fall. So, and it's okay, because like I said, we are going to decorate that, and make it where it's not even noticeable. Now, using my little piece again, I'm just going to come in here and make sure I have that amount of space in between my pieces. And then again, I'm going to mark it. Just like that. And then we're going to go ahead with our glue and glue this piece down. And it doesn't matter that I'm working here with different colored cardstock. I went into my stash and I had some pieces left over from another project that was black, and then I had some pieces that were the regular colored, craft colored cardstock, chipboard. So I just grabbed and used it. Doesn't matter because we're covering this. These are going to be covered well, so it really doesn't matter what color they are, what color chipboard you're using, because it's all going to get covered up with pretty paper. We all love pretty paper. So there we go. We got that one down, and now we're going to do the same thing for the bottom. Let's. I'm really not even going to measure this one since it's the last one. We're going to eyeball it, and I think we'll be fine with this. A nice generous amount of art glitter glue on here so that we can get it stuck down really well. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to do this in one whole video because this is quite a project. We might break this down. I might get the first part of this made and lined, and then we may come back and construct the rest of it and decorate it in my next video. So if we don't finish it, I know I don't want to bore anybody with having to sit through an hour video. Sometimes it's better to come back the next day and record the rest of it. So we'll see how this goes. And if we need to split this up into two, I think that'll be okay. Now, as you can see, we've got our back, our bottom, our back, our top, and our front flap all ready to go. So now what we're going to do before we go any further is we're going to kind of run our scoring tool around the edges and in between these, because we do not want this paper to crack. So I'm just going to go through here a couple of times just to kind of break the fiber a little bit on the paper. And we're also going to run it along the edges. This will help when we bend that paper over to the chipboard. It will help the paper bend better, which will give us a much more clean wrap. And we definitely want a clean wrap on this. This is what makes your projects look so much better. Okay, that one. You want to be careful where you put that together at, because you don't want to tear that paper, and it does have that seam in it. So we're going to go ahead and go down the side. And I'm sure over here I'm out of focus, so let me pull y'all back in. I did go down through here, and we're going to go around this flap because we want that to have some bend in it. So now, what we're going to do now is we are going to fold this up all the way around. We're going to work this paper, and it is very helpful if you start in the middle and work down the sides, because you're going to get some resistance. You're always going to get resistance when you're trying to put paper to chipboard. It's the nature of the beast. Use your bone folder and just press that down so that you get a nice crisp edge on it, because this is what gives you a nice professional look. You know, when they make these boxes in the factories, these machines run these boxes through, and they do them probably hundreds an hour. and yet we work hours on one. But the difference is, with hand making it, we can design that box the way we want it, the size we want it. We can make the closures the way we want them, and we can definitely choose our paper, which is such a plus. So we can make the box for individual. If you know someone that loves birds or butterflies, you can do a box just for them. Or if you got somebody that's into cards, you can find a paper pack that has vintage cards in it and decorate it that way. And the possibilities are endless when you craft. You can always find something for the individual that you're making it for, or for yourself. Just like with me, I absolutely love this moment in time paper. So since this is going to be my box, I made it in the colors that I found pleasing to my eye. So that's what I want y'all to do. I want you to find papers that are pleasing to you. Now, I do think we're going to take a little bit of the bulk out of this. Not a lot, but I think just a little bit will be helpful when we start to glue this. Like I said, I'd rather have too much to wrap over than not enough, because if you don't have enough, and don't worry if you get this jagged like I am. I'm definitely out of the camera, but let's pull it back over, because we're going to cover this back up when we go back in, because this will be the inside of our box. So this is definitely going to be covered. We'll come all the way over to probably here, and you might even use the screen if I have any more of it. I think that would be really pretty to have the inside of it lined. I did do this one different. I did put pink inside of this one. So I don't know. If we don't have the green, maybe we'll go with something different. Just never know. All right, now I'm going to get my wider sticky tape, and I am going to fold this back. And I'm going to run my sticky tape along these pieces, and I am going to break in between these. Okay, we're back. It seems like my camera may have shut down on me. I'm not sure what happened, but thank goodness I didn't get very far. When we ended, we had stuck this down, and I was trying to decide what paper I was going to put in here. I decided to go with this, and what I did here is I glued these together. Actually, I used the sticky tape to put this paper together. I put two pieces together, which were 12 by 12 sheets, just like we did for the outside, and then I cut them down to the width that I wanted this to cover, and I just measured it. And you can do your own measurements, because you may want yours to go in closer, or you may want it to go out further. It'll be totally up to you. What I did here is I measured from here to here and cut it, and then I took this piece and I used my template, the template that I had shown y'all earlier, this piece right here, and I laid it down and I traced it, and then I cut that piece so that I would have that rounded edge right there. Now, I have stuck down a portion of this, but I'm only wanting to do it in sections, and the reason for that is because I want to get my fold and my bend in here. So I'm going to bend that up just like that. Again, I'm going to use one of the larger scoring tool, and I'm just going to work that paper in that crease line and work it, and that looks like that went really well. This piece will need to bend more than the rest of it, because this is where your closure is going to go. And I think we're going to probably throw a little bit of art glitter glue down in there and kind of smush it down. There I go with that Southern smush word again. But anyway, I am going to press it down. Maybe that sounds a little bit more dignified. And you know what, folks? I left my pen out of my glue again. I am ever famous for doing that. So give me just a minute and let me grab a stainless steel pen that's safe to push in here and see if I can get my clump out. And then I can hopefully remember to put this back in or put my stopper topper back in. Oh, it wasn't too bad because it went in and out pretty good. So let's see. Now let's see if we can get some glue in here. So I'm just going to run some glue down in here like so. And I am going to clean that off just a little bit. I need a wipe because I am forever getting art glitter glue on my hands, and I'm sure if whatever glue you use, and I would hope that it's art glitter glue. Again, you can, if you don't use art glitter glue, or if you're in need of art glitter glue, please click on the link in my description and go to May Made It. And if you purchase from that link, as I've told you before, I get a little bit of a kickback, and I would appreciate that so much. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to hold this up like so, and I'm going to grab my tape. Let's see. I want the wire one because I really want this to catch all the way down. And we're probably going to use a little bit of art glitter glue as well, just to make sure this adheres. And I'm going to put that right there. And like I did before, I'm not going to go into the crease because I want that crease to give. Let's see. I'll get my hand in here so I can control this just a little bit better. Oops. There we go. And I'm going to move this down so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I did not put my pen back in my glue after I said I was. I am just horrible about that. I don't know if y'all forget like I do, but I get busy and I want to see my final project and I just totally forget about that pen. But anyway, let me roll this up so I don't have as long a piece. That's the secret with the sticky glue. If you can keep it in pieces that you can control, you will do so much better with this. We're going to go right to there, and I'm going to tear it, and then we're going to do the same thing here. This time I am going to take it up to about here because I want this to catch all the way. Now I am going to go back up to this side, and I'm going to do the same thing up here that I did. I'm actually going to run two pieces along here because I need it to catch here as well as down here. So we're going to run one piece right here. And I got that one a little crumpled, but it's okay because remember when we pull this backing off, it's going to be like a glue, and that will not matter. I'm also going to put another layer right about here. And we're going to do the same thing here. And as you can see, I'm going to continue to double it on this side because I definitely want this to have a really good, and I might even do one in the middle because I do not want this to lift or buckle. And then we're going to do the same thing over here, a piece in the middle, and we're going to run our two pieces right here. I'm going to run this down to about there because I believe that's about where I'm going to be stopping it. Alright, so we're ready to lift this up after we burnish it down a little bit. Now you see that's over top of that piece, but it's going to be okay. We'll still be able to lift that up, and we'll have glue up underneath the other piece. So just working these down really well. So when we lift up on the backer, it will come off really good. Let's start up here so I won't be putting my hands or my arms in it. That might be a good idea. Very good. You know, they say if you're not making a mess, you're not cooking. Well, I say if you're not making a mess, you're not crafting, because I don't know if y'all make the mess that I make. Now see how that lifted up right there? But that is going to lay right back down on top of there. So it did not cause any issue by overlapping it in that vertical position. So let's go back up to this part. And I still got my hand stuck in it. And it looks like I didn't get that burnished down quite good enough to lift that. So let's try it again. Ha, we got it that time. And we'll do this one. And then we'll come right to here and pull this one up. And this one. And I'm hoping as we lay this down, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop right here because I want to wait and see once I get this section down. And then we're going to bend it right there. And I'm going to run my, let's get this one with the ball on it. Just in that line right there. And let's try bending that up a little bit. Bend up on it. Oh yeah, that's a really good crease right there. Now you notice I just let that go and it went right into that other glue or the sticky tape, and it adhered itself. So we're just going to grab that bone folder and we're going to work this. I'm going to lift this up just a little bit, because as you work it down you're going to be losing just fractions of an inch in there, and that's why you always want to cut this a little bit bigger than what you're going to actually need, because you're going to lose some as you do the bends. There we go, that looks really good. And now we can lift this up and put this down, and I think before we do, we're going to lift it up, but before we actually stick it down, I am going to run another, we're going to lay that right there to hold that down. I'm going to run sticky glue across the end of that so that when we press it down it will adhere all the way around. So I'm going to turn this around like so, and I am going to run that glue or the sticky tape right across here, just like that. And hopefully that's going to give us just what we need to glue this down. And if it doesn't all the way to the edge, we will come back in with some of our trusty art glitter glue. So I'm hoping that this is going to do it, and we will have a nice stick here for this. And I'm going to bend it up and press it down. Now we do have a little bit of the sticky right here, but I'm going to try to roll that into the edge of the paper. Like so. And then you can probably come back with your picky tool sometimes that will just lift right off of there. And if you just keep rolling it, it will eventually, you'll be able to pick that off without messing up your paper. I do have a gum eraser that is just for taking glue off. So let's see if it'll work on that sticky tape. These little erasers like this are usually really good for getting off the gummies. And let's see if it'll work for us. Took it right off. And you just clean your eraser off when you're done, and it's all good. There we go. Great. Okay, so as you can see, we now have our box, our top, and our flap, and our back. So we are on our way to building our beautiful box. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this video out right here and now. And I will try to record the rest of this tonight and have it ready to go up tomorrow. This one will probably go up tonight before bedtime, and at least y'all can get your measurements and get started, or you might just want to see the whole thing through and then start your project. I do apologize for this being such a long video, but when you are constructing a box like this, it takes a long time to get all of your pieces together and get everything just like you wanted it. But I can't wait to decorate this box. It is going to be beautiful when we finish, and I'm just excited for the way this is coming together. And I was going to use this on the side pieces, but I changed my mind in midstream. I thought this would be so pretty and colorful on the inside of our box, so that's why I chose that pattern. So the next video, we will come back and we will start assembling the sides and the front, and then I will show you how to use construction strips to actually put that box together. And then once we get that done, we'll be ready to move on with our box and get all of our embellishments on it, and I cannot wait. Thank y'all so much for tuning in for this video. Be on the watch for part 2, and I'll look forward to seeing y'all again next time. Be blessed and be a blessing. Love you all. Bye-bye.